Hello, my name's Adam Jamsek. I'm the writer, director and producer of Solace here at the Down Under Berlin Film Fest. The film was my project. You know, for a short film, it's a pretty ambitious short film, to be honest with you. And what I wanted to do was pretty ambitious, you know what I mean? It was started off as a project where I wanted to go into the middle of the forest, and I wanted to use grips. I wanted to use, which is money, obviously. And people were like, you're going to have a lot of trouble setting up grips and all this. I'm like, nah, I want to do it. And if you're familiar with Australia, I mean, I initially wanted to shoot in Tasmania, which was money and all projects and crew getting them down to there, you know what I mean? So it started off as a pretty ambitious idea. But obviously through good collaboration and other production, it kind of came down to something sizable, which we could do, which you saw. But it's still a pretty ambitious film, and I knew that it wasn't going to get made that way unless I had pretty much creative power in all avenues. So I decided to do this the right way and do it my way. There's a lot of pain that comes through human beings when we deal with something that we don't quite understand. Through that pain, there's anger and frustration, and I think that comes from a large source of energy of not understanding, you know what I mean? So the scene and it was a very big scene when we filmed it, is when Stephen, the actor, Carter, the father, really takes it out on Wyatt, takes the camera off for him and like fully shoves him onto the ground, picks him up again, shoves him, and there's all this frustration coming out. I think that really affects me. It happened on screen the way I wanted it to, but there's a lot of, I think in that scene between the characters there is a lot of regret taking place. There's a lot of regret. And he's not doing that out of anger or hate. It's just because he's frustrated. He doesn't know how to release his emotions, and he's just being a little bit too harsh, but he's obviously not aware of that either. So for me, I can relate a lot with that. I think it's a pretty big turning point in the film as well. It's all very kind of balanced, and then that's a turning point. I think that's a pretty prominent scene in the film for me. It's very surreal, and it does make me a little bit emotional, you know what I mean? It's... that film has taken me 3.5 years to make, you know what I mean? And it's a short film, my God, so it feels like I almost put a lot of feature film work into it, you know what I mean? And then it's been a rather long time from production, finish, and then actually getting it seen at a cinema. So to see all that hard work and that realisation that these characters are mine, and it's my seed that grew from something very small into something big. It's probably pointless me trying to explain it in words because I probably can't explain it in the proper vocabulary, but it does mean quite a lot, you know what I mean? It's hard for me to hold back certain emotions as well. It's a very personal film. I always wanted to be a storyteller. I never knew in what form. I just wanted to tell stories because it helped me. It helps me express myself. I'm not a very social person. I'm probably a bit eccentric, you know what I mean? And sometimes I can't express things properly. Let me rephrase that, sorry. Maybe I can't rephrase things the way I want to phrase them in vocabulary. So when I write, I think it cuts to the core, and sometimes I believe it's not me writing, it's a different energy within me that's writing, and it gets to the very basis of what needs to be said, you know what I mean? So I think... I grew up watching film from a very long time. I mean, my mother used to take me into cinemas and we used to watch Seven Samurai by Kurosawa, you know what I mean? And then she would take me to Stalker. Here I am watching Tarkovsky at 9 years of age, you know what I mean? So film was always a big part, but writing was a bigger part. And then when I met the right people in my life, I think that transcended into filmmaking, and the love just came from there, I think. I think that's what I wanted to do. I think I'm a pretty humanistic director. I'm there to be supportive for these actors and my crew because I think most of my films are emotionally driven. So it's not just about the actors on screen. The energy needs to come from the crew as well. So I try to create a family, not a crew. And we have to all get in touch emotionally to deliver what we're trying to deliver. That's not me saying that I'm not tough, and I want to be tough as well, to be honest with you, because I'm ambitious. But emotionally, I think we should be there in the same space. So I try to be a friend to everyone, but a family member, even if that makes sense. Maybe that's not the right one, but I have a very big project. It's funny, I've been writing it for 10 years, you know what I mean? And I was saying just back after the screening, I don't normally focus on too many projects at once. Normally if I latch onto something, it's normally my focus is there. I don't have energy for a short film, another short film. This project's over, it's very ambitious, I want big actors for it, and it's an extensionism of Solace. So my focus now will be getting that into the right hands, to the right collaborators, and trying to get it up and going. One of the challenges is rejection, I think. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Solace was made nearly 3 years ago, and I spent a year and a half after it was finished submitting into festivals, and it did not get into a single festival. So, you know, I thought, am I doing what should be done? You know what I mean? But you've got to keep on believing in it, and if you keep on pushing it, it will happen. So I think rejection is a great thing. Rejection teaches you not to give up, because if you do give up things, if you give up, it just won't happen. That's the simple basis, you know what I mean? The other thing I would say, you know, you're going to get a lot of opinions, you know what I mean? You're going to, especially in this industry, there are crazy personalities out there, and there's all sorts. And you're trying to do what you want to do because it fuels you, and if it fulfills you in some certain way. So you need to pursue that because that's important enough, you know what I mean? Especially in a world these days where there's materialistic things that are forming all over the place. So I think it's to stay strong to what you believe in, because people will doubt it, they will, but you just have to find a way to make them believe. And I think that comes from rejection, from the word no. They don't like this, okay, well I'm gonna make sure that later down the track that they do like it. I'll find a way. So it's always about problem solving, and there are always ways to solve a problem.